The hour of convening having arrived, all members will please come to the floor of the House. All members will please come to the floor of the House. I'll ask the clerk to ring the bell. All members will come to the floor of the House. We're about to take the roll call for this afternoon. Monday, February the 6th, the 15th legislative day. We are marching on. All members, please come to the floor and take their seats. We're going to have the call of the roll. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Yep. Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. House will come to order. House will be at order. We will have scripture reading and prayer to begin our day, after which time we will pledge allegiance to the flag. Our chaplain today will be introduced by the gentleman from the 37th House District. Representative Terry Johnson will introduce the chaplain of the day. Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you for issuing the invitation to Dr. Randy Cheek, the senior pastor at Olive Springs Baptist Church in Marietta, Georgia. The lovely lady seated to my right, Connie, would you please stand? Randy and Connie have been married 39 years. Would you please help me welcome her to our gallery? Thank you. They're the proud parents of two and grandparents of one. Randy is a graduate of Mercer University, received his master's and also his PhD from Southern Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, this is not his first time into our chambers. About 10 years ago, at the request of one of our dedicated, long-serving doorkeepers, J.B. Sowell, who's guarding the gallery on the fourth floor right now, was the one that requested it. J.B. has been good friends with him for a period of over 15 years now, and I wanted to mention that. Now, I could really expound for many minutes on Randy's ministry at Olive Springs, his dedication, his work there, his very intense ministry where he does an excellent job, and the members have told me so. But I could tell you about his community activism, what he has done in our community, how he's interacted. He's even chaplain for our Cobb County Police Department, even riding patrols sometimes with our Warriors in Blue there. But I would much rather extend the time to him and let him share his words. When I approached Randy about doing our devotion today, he immediately responded, "I would be honored." Well, this afternoon, we're the ones that are honored by his presence. So without anything further, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Randy Cheek.
Folks, I want to tell you, I am honored to stand in this position. Representative Johnson, thank you, my friend, for such an invitation. To JB, a dear, dear friend, and Speaker Ralston, thank you so much for giving me this honor to stand in this place. You know, I've always been intrigued with the Old Testament character of Nehemiah. He was given an insurmountable task to build the wall of Jerusalem, following Jerusalem's total destruction by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon in 586 BC. Nehemiah was the cupbearer of the Persian king Artaxerxes, and his sole purpose was to be sure that whatever the king had to drink, that it was safe for him to drink. But now the time is 445 BC. It's been almost 150 years since the city had been destroyed, and the second group of exiles had returned home. As I thought about what I wanted to share with you folks in this house today, I wanted to entitle this simply Nehemiah from Vision to Completion. Nehemiah from Vision to Completion. And I want you to listen to one verse from the Old Testament book of Nehemiah. It's found in chapter 6, verse 15. It says, "The wall was completed in 52 days on the 25th day of the month of Elul." Elul is simply September for us. You see, Nehemiah moved the people from vision to completion, wow, in just 52 days. How did he do it? How did he accomplish this task with such great efficiency and consistency in the short time? Let me suggest some things to you this afternoon as you begin this session. Number one, Nehemiah had a strong faith. His faith in God was everything. It was his foundation because he knew that God had commanded him to lead the rebuilding of the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, I was raised by a Christian mother and dad in Marietta, Georgia, to believe that the foundation of my life must be rooted in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I made that decision in 1963 under the leadership of those parents. I've never forgotten it. I've committed my life to it, and it's not been an easy road by any stretch of the means, because true commitment is never easy. And so as Nehemiah had such a strong faith, I want to challenge each of you, along with myself this afternoon, as you begin this session and every session of this house, make sure you have such a strong foundation. Be strong in your faith. But then the second thing, Nehemiah's humility was paramount. Nehemiah knew the task ahead of him was simply impossible for one person. How could one person build a wall, especially a wall around the city of Jerusalem? He would need the help of many workers, and his ultimate goal of completion of the wall would have to transcend his human ability. And Nehemiah's humility permeated all that he did. He knew God was in control, and without such knowledge, he could have never accomplished the task. And you and I have got to understand that today, folks. Our work is far beyond us. We cannot accomplish the goal of legislation and servant leadership by ourselves. We must remain humble, always really, and understanding that we are nothing apart from the power of God on our lives. But then I think of each of you, and I think of Nehemiah in the third place. Nehemiah's vision was focused. He knew the goal. He could see the completed wall. He loved his people, and he wanted nothing but the best for him and them. But you and I face a lot of distractions in this second decade of the 21st century. And my challenge to you this afternoon is to keep your focus in check and make sure nothing, absolutely nothing, reroutes you from the focus of what you must do and we must do, not only as leaders of the state, but all of us in the evangelical church. In the fourth place, how did Nehemiah accomplish the task in 52 days? How did he move the people from vision, literally, to completion? He learned the ability of motivating people. Nehemiah's ability to motivate others came as a direct result of his passion to get the job done. The people could see his passion. It was real. It was genuine. And people follow genuineness. Matter of fact, they will flock to it if they can see evidence of the genuineness of a person from the very beginning. You see, sincere passion breeds contagious motivation. Make sure your passion that's portrayed by Nehemiah by example, may it be our motivation to the point that our people will follow us as leaders. And in the fifth place this afternoon, Nehemiah persevered building that wall even in the midst of the adversity that he faced. Such adversity was found in two men in the Old Testament. Their names were Sanballat and Tobiah. They were the personification of negativism present in Nehemiah's day. And they undermined Nehemiah's plans because they wanted to degrade the construction workers of the wall to the point that they would simply resign and quit. So what did Nehemiah do? He held fast to his own integrity and he kept building the wall despite these men and despite the negative remarks that they were making to the people. And such negative remarks from Nehemiah only fueled his fire to get the job done. Folks, let me say something. You know adversity will happen. But when it does, you allow such adversity to give each of you a renewed drive to accomplish the task. Nehemiah was also two other things. He was a servant leader. A person can never be a true leader unless he first knows what it means to be a servant. Jesus Christ made it very clear to you and me. In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 45, he said, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many." Nehemiah led by service. Many years before he ever returned to Jerusalem to build the wall, he found himself weeping over the city. His heart was broken because of the sin and destruction of the evil king Nebuchadnezzar. He wanted to make a difference in the life of his people. And you want to make a difference in the life of those whom you represent in this state. That's why you're here today. And I applaud you. So does Nehemiah. Don't ever let anyone or anything diminish such drive in your life. Be a servant leader. And the final thing, the last thing I want to tell you about Nehemiah, how he finished that wall so quickly, how he led those people literally to completion of that wall, is that he celebrated the victory of the end result. 1 week after that wall was completed, Nehemiah brought the whole town together so that the word of God could be read in public in Jerusalem. He wanted the people to celebrate the worshiping of God. And folks, a lot of people showed up. We're told exactly in chapter 7 of Nehemiah, verse 66, 42,360 plus people showed up. Chapter 8 of Nehemiah actually records how that took place. And Ezra, the podium that was made and built for that purpose, he stood up to read the law, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. And folks, when he did, all 43,000 people stood to their feet. Such a celebration must be based on the actualization of our faith. When we actualize something, we make it real through a specific action, and we can only make it real when our celebration is steeped in our passion of getting the job done. So today, as we serve the people of this great state of Georgia, and as I minister to the folks in my congregation at Olive Springs, I want to challenge you to be sure, like Nehemiah, your faith is strong, that your humility is paramount, that your vision is focused, and that your ability to motivate people is based on your passion, and that your purpose continues despite any adversity. Always remember that your leading and our leading is based on our first being a servant, and then our celebration must always be the result of the actualization of our faith. May God grant us, as he did Nehemiah, the faith and the passion and the focus and the motivation to move people from vision to completion. Would you join me? Let's pray together. Almighty God, give us such a sense of call that it will enable each one of us to embrace an intimate passion to get the work accomplished for what you've called us to do. Help us to be strong in our faith in you. And with our commitment, never let us waver in the face of adversity. Rather, grant us such zeal to accomplish the goals that you've set before us, not only this day, but in the days to come. Teach us once again that the true meaning of a leader is that of being a servant to those whom we are called to lead. And may our passion to do the work be contagious to all those around us as we seek to follow you and your absolute truth. May you be praised and honored today. To God be the glory forever and ever through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. And amen. Would you join with me as we pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, my friend.
Chief, that was outstanding.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Committee on Information and Audits, Chairman Davis of the 109th District.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read and reviewed the journal from the previous legislative day and found it to be correct.
Chairman Davis of the 109th House District, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none. The journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. O'Neill, the 146th, moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period of unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading and reference of bills and resolutions, second reading of bills and resolutions, reports of standing committees, third reading and passage, uncontested local bills, morning orders, rule calendar, privilege resolutions through the resolution.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 891 by Representative Jurgensen, 22nd. Bill to be entitled Act entitled 34 relating to contributions, payments in lieu of contributions under the Employment Security Law.
Industrial Relations.
House Bill 892 by Representative Cook of the 18th. Bill to be entitled Act relating to the Board of Education, School Superintendent, Carroll County School District.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 893 by Representative Harrell, the 106th. Bill to be entitled Act entitled 12 relating to solid waste management generally.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 894 by Representative Black, the 174th. The bill to be entitled Act entitled 20 relating to consolidation, independent county school systems.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 895 by Representative Carter, the 175th. Bill to be entitled Act entitled 42 relating to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Sexual Offender Registry Review Board.
Judiciary Non-Civil.
House Bill 896, Representative Coleman, 97th. The bill will be entitled Act Title 48 relating to sales tax for educational purposes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 897, Representative Harden of the 28th. Bill will be entitled Act Title 34 relating to labor and industrial relations.
Industrial Relations.
House Bill 898, Representative Earhart, 36. The bill will be entitled Act Title 7 related to banking and finance.
Banks and Banking.
House Bill 899, Representative Brockway, the 101st. The bill will be entitled Act Title 21 related to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 900 by Representative Rice, 51st. The bill will be entitled Act Title 4 related to certificates of title for motor vehicles.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 901 by Representative Weldon, 3rd. The bill will be entitled Act Title 18 relating to debtor and creditor.
Banks and Banking.
House Resolution 1277, Representative Neal, 75th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Expulsion, School Creation.
Education.
Through the first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
HB 876 by Representative Epps, the 140th, the bill to amend and act creating Board of Education, Wilkinson County. HB 877 by Representative Jones, 46, bill to amend and act providing number of members of the Board of Education, Fulton County. HB 878 by Representative Pack with 102nd, bill relating to pharmacists and pharmacies. HB 879 by Representative Ramsey of the 72nd, bill relating to student health in elementary and secondary education. HB 880 by Representative Powell of the 29th, bill relating to professions and businesses. HB 881 by Representative Murphy of the 120th, bill relating to contract and purchases by public schools. HB 882 by Representative Shaw of the 176, a bill to amend and act creating Board of Education, Lanier County. HB 883 by Representative Shaw of the 176, bill to amend and act creating Board of Commissioners of Lanier County. HB 884 by Representative Sims of the 169th, bill relating to general provisions for the registration, licensing of motor vehicles. HB 885 by Representative Pruitt, the 144th, a bill to amend and act providing for Board of election of members of Board of Education, Dodge County. HB 886 by Representative Williamson of the 111th, a bill relating to limits on obligations of one person or corporation. HB 887 by Representative Nimmer of the 178th, the bill relating to powers and duties of the Department of Natural Resources. HB 888 by Representative Rice of the 51st, a bill relating to secondary metal recyclers, crimes and offenses, motor vehicles and traffic, and Georgia Technology Authority. HB 889 by Representative Wilkinson of the 52nd, bill relating to powers and duties of the Georgia Government Transparency and Campaign Finance Commission. HB 890 by Representative Parsons of the 42nd, a bill relating to imposition rate computation exemptions regarding income tax. Senate Bill 225 by Senator Miller of the 49th, a bill relating to obstruction of public administration related criminal offenses. Senate Bill 227 by Senator Loudermilk of the 52nd, bill relating to compulsory attendance for students in elementary and secondary education. Senate Bill 305 by Senator Bullock of the 11th, a bill relating to consumer fees to implement provisions of Article 28 relating to Georgia lemon law. Senate Bill 319 by Senator Jeffers of the 17th, a bill relating to ordering of persons to leave parks, historic sites, or recreational areas upon the refusal to observe rules or to prohibited acts generally. Through second readers.
Report of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Hamilton, 23rd, Chairman, Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Governmental Affairs had in consideration the following bill. The House Truck Committee support the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 728, due pass by substitute. Respect submitted Representative Hamilton, Chairman. Representative Sims, 169th, Chairman, Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination had in consideration the following bills. The House Truck Committee report the same back to the House, following recommendation. House Bill 783, due pass by substitute. House Bill 833, 842, 847, due pass. Respect submitted Representative Sims, Chairman, through the committee reports. How about
Okay, we're going on to the local calendar. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. Local calendar. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 783 by substitute, Representative Hatchett, 143rd, Lawrence County. House Bill 833, Representative Hanner, 148th, Terrell County. House Bill 842, Representative Benfield, 85th, DeKalb County. House Bill 847, Representative Maddox, 172nd, Grady County, through the local calendar.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the ayes are 151, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. This House will come to order, please. House will come to order. We are about to honor and recognize some very distinguished and important Georgians. I want the House to be in order as we do. If you have business that's more important, then please take it to the anterooms or the hallways. But I'd ask those members on the floor to take their seats and cease conversation. The chair recognizes for an invite resolution Representative Jaspers. Representative Jaspers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fellow House members, today is 4-H Leadership Day. In 1980, I began a career that would change my life. I became a county agent with the University of Georgia's College of Agriculture. During the next 30 years, Georgia 4-H program affected me, my family, and hundreds of kids that I had the opportunity to work with. Extension workers just like myself and volunteers across the state put untold hours into our 4-H program, working with over 172,000 4-H members across our state. Solid research validates that 4-H youth succeed. They stay in school and excel, and they become contributing citizens and leaders in our state. This program is a worthy investment of the dollars we appropriate each year. On your desk, you'll find the Georgia Cloverleaf. It tells the story of Georgia 4-H in our state. In a few moments, we'll recognize 24 outstanding 4-H members and their leadership and achievement. Mr. Clerk, would you please read the caption of the resolution?
House Resolution 1133 by Representative Smith, 131st, Representative Jaspers the 12th, and others. A resolution recognizing the 4-H clubs of Georgia, inviting Mr. Dowdy White, Mr. Arch D. Smith, and the 2011-2012 4-H leadership team to be recognized by the House of Representatives.
Thank you. Joining these 4-Hers today are the leaders of the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. They are Dr. Beverly Sparks, who is the Associate Dean for Extension, and Mr. Arch Smith, who's the State 4-H leader. I'd also like to recognize the Extension agents and the program assistants, parents, and volunteer leaders for your contribution in making an investment in Georgia's youth. We also have with us Dowdy White, a Crisp County 4-Her. He is the State 4-H president and will now share a few words with us.
Speaker Ralston and ladies and gentlemen of the House, good afternoon. I'm Dowdy White, a 12th grade 4-Her from Crisp County, the Georgia 4-H State President, and one of the youngest students in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences at the University of Georgia. I am honored to be representing the 172,366 Georgia 4-Hers, including our pages and honorees at the Capitol today. Growing up in the rural town of Cordele, Georgia, has shown me just how important agriculture is to our cities, counties, and state. As you all know, 4-H is an organization that was started in 1904 as a club that was based primarily on agriculture. I am proud to say that Georgia 4-H continues to remain one of the top agricultural educators in our great state. Today, 2% of Americans are involved in production agriculture, but 100% of Americans are consumers of the food, fiber, and shelter that is produced by agriculture. 4-H has come a long way since 1904. Our 4-H members are the next generation of farmers, performers, businessmen, doctors, leaders, and possibly legislators. The Georgia 4-H program offers youth from around the state the opportunity to do anything that they like to do. 4-H has something to offer everybody ages 9 to 19, and that's what prepares each and every one of us to take on our futures with full force. When you begin to wonder about what the future holds for the next generation, think about Georgia 4-H, and you will ponder no more. As we speak, 4-Hers from Georgia are learning about their desired fields, preparing themselves for a bright future to come. 4-H is the ideal place to look for the future innovators of tomorrow, as the 4-H motto is, to make the best better. The Georgia 4-H organization is successful today because of your wonderful support. On behalf of the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, Cooperative Extension, and over 170,000 4-Hers, thank you for all that you do. I hope you will keep our faces in mind as this new session opens. I am Dowdy White, the Georgia 4-H State President, and the students seated up in the gallery are the next generation of leaders, and you are the Georgia General Assembly, and together we are Georgia 4-H. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, we honored young people from across the state in Youth Leadership Day. Let's take a moment and recognize these 4-Hers. Young people, if you'll stand when we recognize you. We'll start off with Dowdy White from Crisp County, our State 4-H President. James Hicks from Butts County, Northeast District President. Quentin Brasher, Chattooga County, Northwest District President. Brandon Cherry from Jenkins County, the Southeast District President. A.J. Wells from Marion County, Southwest District President, Winners of the Leadership and Action Award, Crystal Buckingham from Pickens County. Morgan Bowen from Sumter County. Representing Georgia as a National 4-H Conference delegate are Lauren Morris from Oconee County, and Matthew Pace from Chattooga County. Winner of the Dean's Award in Citizenship, Clay Hurdle from Lowndes County. The Dean's Award in Communication and the Arts, Amanda Starling, Effingham County. the Dean's Award winner in Family and Consumer Sciences, Tiffany Garrett, Madison County. And Juan Jackson from Bibb County is the Dean's Award winner in Leadership. The winner of the National Chicken Barbecue Contest. There she is, Tess Hammock from Monroe County. The winners of the National 4-H Poultry Judging Contest winning team are from Tiff County. The members are Connor Dunn, Sarah Johnson, Anna Johnson, and Deanne Taylor. Connor Dunn was also the high individual scorer in that contest. Hart County won the National 4-H Forestry Invitational. And those team members are Rachel Rice, Brittany Evans, Abby Harrison, and Ashley Hollenshed. Fellow members, let's rise and recognize these young people and their leaders for their contributions.
Good job, young man. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Good to see you. Hey, buddy, he says he's going to run against you. I don't know what he's talking about. Absolutely, you're gonna get a picture. I'm gonna slip that. I did.
Invite resolution. All right, may I have your attention, please? We have another invite resolution. The chair recognizes Representative Michael Harden to present his resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the members of this chamber and this distinguished body, if you are like me, when we're out of here years from now, not only will we remember the bills that we passed or the bills that we didn't, but the Georgians that we've been able to come into contact with. And I'd like to have your attention for just a few moments to talk to you about a first grader, Mr. Ashton Bray from my home county of Stevens County, whose life was lost in October of last year. And before I get started, if I could ask the clerk to read the caption of the resolution.
House Resolution 1324, Representative Harden of 28th, a resolution honoring the life and memory of Ashton Richard Bebo Bray and inviting Quentin and Jana Bray to be recognized by this House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Friends, I'm very involved in ag education in my district, and over the past few years I had the honor of getting to know a young man that was a rising leader in this state, frankly, even at the age of 6 years old. As I would attend these shows and whatnot, you see all kinds of kids and youngsters running around, but some of them really stand out in your mind, and that was the case of Mr. Ashton, or as his friends and family called him, Bebo Bray. I remember the first time I met him, they were actually waiting to take some animals, some show animals into the ring, and I had the opportunity to stand by the gate and squat down next to him, and he was so respectful. Here I was distracting him from the chore that he was supposed to accomplish, and that was to go in there and have fun and get a ribbon. But when I asked him if he was having fun, his response to me, and I haven't even shared this with the family, he said, "They're giving out a buckle." They were giving out a belt buckle that day, and he was laser focused on the task at hand. His life was lost in October, and I just wanted to not only bring to light the life of this rising young man, but also the family and the way that they've been able to turn a tragedy into a triumph. You know, any of you that have lost someone, you understand that sometimes your first desire is to step away from anything that reminds you of that individual. And I totally expected to not see this family at anything 4-H related or any show related for several years. But not only have they been back, not only with their the two children that they have here today, but also they have started a scholarship fund that within just a few months raised over $30,000, 100% of which will be given to young folks like these young people up here and like Bebo. And it is just amazing to see not only a family that has suffered tragedy like this, but has really turned it into a triumph. And when I asked them why they were doing it, they told me that it's about the kids and it's about the youth and it's about ensuring that these young people have an alternative to things that aren't good, and that is ag education and 4-H and whatnot. And so with that, I ask you to join me in honoring not only the life of Mr. Ashton Bray, but his family, for ensuring that his legacy of giving lives on forever in this state. So would you join me in honoring them?
There's a lot I should probably say. There's a lot I want to say, but at this point, there's really just not much I can say. It's been really tough for our family, and but people like Michael and people like you all that show us support, and you know, support came from places we didn't even expect to see it come from, and it's been phenomenal, and it's really helped us. You know, it's helped us turn this into something that where we can give, you know, what we give to our own children, we can carry on. We don't have him to carry on with, but we're going to give it to others. And I just want to give a special thanks to Michael Harden. We really appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you. We're going to stop right here and do a picture. So we'll just follow her lead right here.
Thank you very, very much. Well, thank you. You're an honor. You honor us by being here. Thank you, sir. Okay. Mr. Chairman, you got the doctor of the day? Morning orders. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on now to morning orders. The chair recognizes Representative Al Williams for a morning order. You got the doctor of the day here too. I know.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I apologize. Being a father, I just had to speak to that father and mother on the way out the door. This morning, and they're still in meetings, or they have a series of meetings, but my leadership, Liberty, is here, sponsored by the Liberty County Chamber of Commerce, and they're across the street, but I thought it was fitting that we recognize the work that they're doing, and they're doing a wonderful job over there in the leadership of our Chief Executive Officer, Leah Poole. And I just want them recognized. They're not here, but thank you all for pausing just a moment. We appreciate it. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield it well.
Chair recognizes Representative Mark Hatfield for a morning order.
Am I on? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, after Friday's floor debate on HB 29, as well as a subsequent report that was printed in the Georgia Times-Union, I felt compelled to make a brief statement. A member of this body was referenced as having said on the floor that my proposed amendment to the redistricting bill would have disrupted plans for creating a majority-minority district in Valdosta, and that my proposal would have thrown, quote, would have thrown one of his colleagues under the bus and put him into a district he could not have won, close quote. While true that my amendment would have drawn this colleague into the majority-minority district, it is a majority-minority district in his own county, Lowndes County. Secondly, this former Democratic representative's former district was chopped up not because of anything I suggested, but because another former Democratic representative from Lowndes did not wish to remain with her same constituency going forward. The numbers for the majority-minority district were very similar under both the plan the House adopted and under my proposal. Under the House plan, the total black population percentage was 55.75%, and the black voting age population percentage was 50.98%. Under my amendment, the total black population percentage was 54.50%, and the black voting age population percentage was 50.07%. While the news report quoted my colleague as expressing concern for the Lowndes representative he claimed to have been, quote, thrown under the bus, it's odd that he seems to have no concern for me or my constituents who are being, as another colleague described it, murdered. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House, Leader O'Neill, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's a great honor for me today to recognize from this well the Perry Youth Leadership Council that's visiting with us here in Atlanta. I'd like them to stand up in the balcony up here and y'all help me welcome the Perry Youth Leadership here, sophomores and juniors from Perry, Georgia. We thank y'all very much for being in your capital. One other point, too, I wanted to update everybody here on the condition of Representative Chairman Willie Towton. I'm proud to tell you that he went home. He was released from the hospital yesterday afternoon, and his son was here to take him back home, and his doctors there at Grady that did such an outstanding job, nurses and everybody there, to get him back on the mend have asked him to stay home and rest about a week, but he's very hopeful he'll be back with us when we come back to session Wednesday week. So know Willie's doing well. Still keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Representative Jordan for a morning order. Representative Jordan.
As most of you know, last week in Clayton County, we had the report that a young 6-year-old boy was missing. But we later found out that he wasn't missing. And I just want to take a moment to say thanks to our Clayton County Police Department for the job, the job that they did. They did a fantastic job of investigating and locating that young man because he wasn't missing, he was with one of his relatives. And I also want to mention our Police Chief, Greg Porter, who did an outstanding job in coordinating the events that led to the recovery of that young man. And I also want to say thank you to the Henry County Police Department, Fayette County Police Department, Riverdale Police Department, the GBI, and the FBI. They all came, and within 3 hours of that young man being reported missing, there were over 100 police officers knocking on the doors looking for that young man. So thanks to everyone for a job well done. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Baker to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to introduce a friend and a neighbor of mine, Dr. Steve Muller. Steve received his bachelor's degree from Cornell University. He later received his medical degree from Cornell University there up in New York. He completed his residency at North Shore Hospital in New York, special surgery and also orthopedic. Steve's a board member of the Director of Medical Association of Georgia. He's also served at the Medical Review Board, Institute of America. Ladies and gentlemen, someone that's been here many, many times, Steve Muller.
I wish my parents were here when Glenn introduces me. My mother would have believed it, and my father would have been proud. On behalf of the physicians of Georgia, I want to thank you for all you do to protect the rights, privileges, and duties of the citizens of Georgia. And on behalf of the Medical Society, I feel privileged to help support you. Thank you. Yeah.
We're about to go on to the rules calendar. House will come to order. House will come to order. We have bills on the rule, a bill and a resolution on the rules calendar today. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 832. House Bill 832.
House Bill 832 by Representative McCall, 30th. The bill to be entitled Act amending Code Section 2-14-132.1, Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to Vidalia onion trademark, royalty, license fees to eliminate the requirement royalty and license fee not exceed a certain amount. The bill having been for the House Committee on Agriculture, Consumer Affairs. Committee recommends the bill to pass. This bill is being read for its third time.
The chair recognizes the chairman of the House Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee, Chairman McCall, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 832 deals with the Vidalia onion royalties. Now, it is in statute that well, what it reads is such royalty and license fee shall not exceed 5 cents for every 6 ounces portion thereof of a product connection with all products and all such trademark is used. Well, that sounds kind of convoluted. So what this is doing is taking that out of statute, giving it to the Department of Agriculture to be able to bring up to date the way they charge a royalty on Vidalia onion usage. This was brought to us and the department by the Vidalia Onion Advisory Council, which is a council made up of Vidalia onion growers. And in a nutshell, what it is, because this royalty is convoluted as it is, people are using Vidalia onions, but they're putting sweet onion on the label instead of the word Vidalia, which is kind of contradictory to what the royalties are supposed to be doing, and that's generating advertisement for the Vidalia onion. So that's it in a nutshell, Mr. Speaker. I'll take a question if there is any, and I hope it's not, but I'd appreciate your vote.
Looks like you have a question if you care to yield.
Maybe one.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims to your left for a question.
Mr. Chairman, will you yield? Does this bill make you as strong as a field of Vidalia onions?
Stronger.
You have no further questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 832 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 832. The ayes are 148, the nays are 8. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 1103. House Resolution 1103.
House Resolution 1103 by Representative Sims, the 119th, a resolution honoring the life of Deputy James D. Paul and dedicating a road in his memory. Resolution having been for the House Committee on Transportation. Committee recommends the resolution do pass. The resolution is being read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Sims to present the bill or the resolution. Representative Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I bring House Resolution 1103 on behalf of Augusta, Richmond County, and Columbia County delegations to honor the memory of J.D. Paul and to dedicate a portion of the road on which he was killed in his memory. First, it is my privilege to recognize his mother, Anita, and his brother, Robert. His fellow officers, Captain Scott Gay, Sergeant Raul Fernandez, Deputies Brian Johnson, Deputy Brad Johnson, and Deputy Daniel Puckett. I would like for you to stand so that we can properly recognize you. Thank you. Sheriff Ronnie Strength retired JD's call sign T31 out of respect for such a fine officer. J.D. Paul was a hero in life. He was heading home from a special detail at Augusta Exchange Club Fairgrounds when he noticed a car that had pulled off the side of the road. He passed the car, but turned his motorcycle around after seeing something suspicious. 9 shots from an M4 assault rifle hit him, but he did not fall right away. He got a shot off on which he hit the assailant in the arm. We're honoring today a man who cooked turkeys for the firefighters during the holidays, served meals to his deputies, and if you were lucky enough to be a neighbor, you had a hamburger or a hot dog waiting for you. Although he had been a deputy for 17 years, it was said he never worked. He never worked because he loved what he did. He loved his job, and he loved the people he met. Fellow officers tell me he always clowned around, trying to make them laugh. He was just a person who enjoyed life and enjoyed making others happy. I've put pictures of JD on the newspaper article on your desk, and you can see that trademark smile of his. He was a role model for children who lived around him, and posters which were put up after his death and after the funeral showed signatures that went about 3/4 of the way up a door, just about as high as a child could reach. The articles that were placed on your desk make that statement. We are here to honor J.D. Paul. At the end of the church service, these words came over the speaker. "Dispatch to J.D. Paul," the voice said. "His job here is done, but never forgotten." I ask for your favorable support. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the resolution? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of House Resolution 1103. The ayes are 161, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. What purpose does Chairman Martin rise?
I rise to make a motion.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 844 be moved from the Committee on Ways and Means to the Committee on Judiciary. Both chairmen have agreed, and the clerk has the legislation.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Resolution 844 by Representative Martin on the 47th, the bill will be entitled Admin Code Section 3662A, relating to obligations of authority, use of proceeds, status of revenue obligations, subsequent series of bonds or notes, bond anticipation notes, interest rates, issuance and validations, to provide for certain validation hearing appearance provisions.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 844 be withdrawn from the Ways and Means Committee and recommitted to the Judiciary Committee, is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. What purpose does Representative Chokas rise?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a motion. I move that the rules be suspended temporarily so that a resolution may be read for the first time in assigned committee.
Clerk will read.
Resolution by Representative Chokas, the 134th. Resolution urging the Congress of the United States to amend the Communications Act of 1934 and FCC rules so as to permit the use of cellular jammers to prevent illegal cell phone use in prison facilities.
On the motion of the gentleman that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? The chair hears none. It is so ordered. State institutions and property. What purpose does Chairman Knight rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the rules be suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Clerk will read a caption.
Bill by Representative Knight, 126, Bill of Entitled Act, Amendment Code Section 48-5, 7.4, relating to bona fide conservation use property, so as to change certain qualifications and restrictions regarding covenants.
On the motion of the gentleman that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? The chair hears none. It is so ordered. Ways and Means Committee. The chair omitted a morning order earlier this morning. Chair recognizes Representative Holcomb for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This has been a bit of an emotional day so far with the presentations that we've had, but what it's clearly demonstrated is how all of us really care about this state and want to do right by this state, and that we have some really great Georgians who are working hard in that direction. The reason why I want to do a morning order today is I want to talk about education policy and the charter bill, which, if you're like me, you've been receiving a lot of correspondence on House Resolution 1162. I've put together an alternative version, and this alternative version I'd ask you to take a look at and to review. And the reason why I did so was because after studying the case and looking at House Resolution 1162, and I commend everyone for their very hard work on 1162, I think the state is going in the wrong direction if we try to put charter schools under special schools, because the court was very clear in saying that charter schools are not special schools. So what I propose to do is that we amend the Constitution in two ways. One is we make it explicit that the General Assembly actually has the authority to make policy on education. I think there's still an argument there because the court made reference to the Georgia Professional Standards Act that the court was not saying that the General Assembly does not have that role, but I understand the other point, and I think that it's worth clearing that up. But then instead of putting the change in the special schools, what I submit the better course of action is to amend the Constitution to specifically allow the state to establish charter schools and I think this is a key point, hear any denials of local school districts. So that way there is an appellate authority that can listen to denials of charter schools, which is important on two counts. One, it's basically the issue that we're dealing with. Secondly, it'll help us with respect to the race to the top dollars, because that's one of the factors that they look at. Does the state have such a mechanism in place? So we're going to have the bill over here. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. And if you're interested, please sign it, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If you have an announcement and you haven't signed up, then you need to come down and see the messenger immediately. If you have an announcement, clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. The clerk will read.
These first resolutions are invitation resolutions. They're being read for the first time and referred to the Committee on Rules. House Resolution 1323 by Representative Earhart, 36, commending staff and members of Sherwood Baptist Church on their overwhelming success on the film Courageous, and inviting them to be recognized by the House of Representatives. Resolution by Representative Taylor of the 55th, recognizing and commending Dr. Robert Michael Franklin, inviting him to appear before the House of Representatives. Resolution by Representative Houston, 170th, commending the Ashley Lane family and inviting them to be recognized by the House of Representatives. Next resolution is a resolution was adopted by this House today, a resolution on the life and memory of Ashton Richard Bebo Bray, inviting Quentin and Jana Bray to be recognized by the House of Representatives. The following resolutions are also for adoption today. Privileged resolutions, a resolution by Representative Long, 61st, honoring the life and memory of Gail Denise Thomas. Resolution by Representative Maxwell, 17th, commending leadership Paulding, 22. A resolution by Representative Brooks, the 63rd, honoring the life and memory of Maddie Harper Briscoe. A resolution by Representative Parrish, 156th, commending the Georgia Rural Health Association, recognizing February the 6th, 16th, 2012 as Rural Health Day at the State Capitol. Resolution by Representative Hughley, the 133rd, recognizing and commending Reverend James Richard Herring Sr. on the occasion of his 21st pastoral anniversary. Resolution by Representative Hughley, the 133rd, recognizing and commending Sherry Diane Perry. Resolution by Representative Williams, the 165th, honoring the life and memory of Ms. Letty M. Adams through the privileged resolutions.
Is there objection to the adoption of the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none. The resolutions are adopted. We're going on to announcements. Listen up, you may want to hear one or more of these. The chair recognizes Chairman Benton for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Human Relations and Aging Committee will meet this afternoon at 4 o'clock. There has been a room change. We will now be meeting in 606. 606 for the Human Relations and Aging Committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Dobbs for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to remind everyone that tomorrow is Girl Scout Day here at the Capitol, and I would like to ask all the women in the Women's Caucus to please wear your Girl Scout scarves, and we are having photographs taken with the Scouts at 9:30 tomorrow morning downstairs on the North Steps, and we hope to see you all then. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Coleman for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, remember today, and you have on your desk a notice that immediately after Rules meets today, it says after dismissal, but it's after Rules, in room 417, Representative Dudgeon and I will be meeting to listen to anybody who has any questions on House Bill 824, which is the equalization bill. So please come and get your questions answered immediately after Rules. Thank you.
We will be doing page photographs down at the podium immediately upon adjournment. Immediately upon adjournment. Chair recognizes the Chairman of the Rules Committee for an announcement. Chairman Meadows.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a Rules Committee meeting upon adjournment. Thanks.
Now, there are no further announcements. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move this House now adjourn until 10 a.m. Tuesday, February the 7th, 2012.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House stand adjourned until Tuesday, February the 7th at 10 o'clock a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. Ayes clearly have it. This House will be adjourned until Tuesday, February the 7th at 10 a.m.